Yo, my name is Dan, and if you've been following along on this channel, I do a lot of touring music photography. And I'm actually heading out on the road very soon. I'm gonna be out on the road with Motionless in White and Cherry Bombs, and then shifting into a Slipknot tour right after that. So I thought for inquiring minds, it might be kind of fun to go through my touring bag today. So let's check it out. First of all, the bag I'm using this year is gonna be the Tenba Axis V2. This is the 24-liter version. And this is a cool bag. It's got a pretty sleek design. It fits easily under an airplane seat, which is an important thing to me. And you can put a lot of stuff in here, whether it's gear, there's a laptop pouch, there's a zipper in the front that you can actually open and just put a bunch of various knickknacks. And I usually put some drives in there sometimes. I also carry around this Smallrig Tool. And this just has like a lot of little wrench heads and everything. It's great if you have a cage on a camera and need to take it on or off or just anything like that. All right, now when it comes to gear inside the bag, the main camera I use when I'm out on the road is the Sony A7R5, and I pretty much always keep this on it, the Tamron 35-150 f2 to 2.8. I love this lens. I honestly think it might be the best concert photography lens, at least for what I do. And I did a whole video about this lens. It rocks. It's so versatile. So this setup usually stays together. My second camera for photos is always actually the camera that I'm using to film this video right now, the Sony A7C II. I love this camera, and it actually kind of doubles as my street camera because when you're on tour, you're in a lot of different cities, new places, and it's kind of fun to go do some street photography. And I just think the A7C II is an awesome street photography camera. And it shoots a really great video, which is why I'm actually using it right now. I bring a third camera with me as well, and that is this, the Sony ZV-E1. I just use this exclusively for video because that's basically what it's used for. And when I'm shooting shows, I pretty much use this a lot of times to shoot like 120 frames per second. My other cameras, they don't do that. The A7C II and the R5, they don't have that mode. So this is great for that, and I just always leave a microphone on this, which I have a microphone in here. This is the Sony ECM-M1, and it has an automatic gain mode, which I love, which is awesome when you're shooting shows because it works really well. And it's so small, fits in the bag really nice. In the same compartment I have that, I actually keep this battery charger. This is the ISDT MP2 Air. Once again, it's just tiny. It's so small, it takes up no room. That's why it's in my bag. All right, on to some more exciting things, if you can call a camera lens exciting. These are the lenses I'm bringing out on the road with me for these next couple tours. Obviously, we have the Tamron we talked about, but outside of that, my most used concert lens would be this, the Sony 16-35 f2.8 GM2. This thing rules. If you're gonna be shooting concerts, something like a 16-35, in my opinion, is kind of essential. It's just a great piece of kit to have. You can get some awesome wide shots with that. And it's great for video. I use that lens for a lot of just like documentary style video work. But if that's not wide enough, that's when I use this, a new Laowa lens that came out last year, the Laowa 10mm f2.8. It's autofocused. This thing is wide. Honestly, sometimes it's almost too wide, but that's a really nice problem to have. This is great for shots of an arena full of people or just a room full of people, wherever you're shooting a show at. It's gonna make that room look even bigger than it already is. This is a super fun lens. I'm also taking out a couple primes on this run. This is the Sony 35mm f1.4. This is pretty much probably just gonna be kind of like a backstage and street photography lens for me. I probably won't use this much during actual shows, but I like having some primes with me for just reasons like that. Also taking out this lens, I love this lens. I might do a whole video on this. This actually just came out last year too. It's a Sigma 50mm f1.2. It's not very big, it's not very heavy, and this lens is awesome. Basically, I'm gonna use this like I use that 35 for street photography and actually for some portrait work as well. Sometimes when you're on the road, people just want photos. They just want headshots. They just want some shots around the environment that they're in, and it's good to have something like that in your bag. And I have shot some shows with this lens. I recently shot a Bleed From Within show with this lens, and it just looks amazing. If you're shooting in low light, a lens that can go down to 1.2, it can see in the dark. Really cool piece to have with you. All right, I bring 5 batteries with me on the road, and I keep them in these little Packets right here. Take up no room, can shove them anywhere in the bag. I also bring this, the DJI Mic 2 system, because you never know when you're just gonna need some microphones. It's important to have things like that. And sometimes you need to shoot a promo, or sometimes you just wanna make a video yourself. And having a good audio option, essential. And very sleek, takes up no room. I'm kind of turning into a minimalist with my gear. I just like small things. All right, so if you've seen my channel before, you probably know that when I'm shooting concerts, I love using filters, lens filters. So I bring out this thing, this little hamburger looking thing. Every time I open my bag and pull this out during a show, people are like, I thought that was a hamburger. It's not. But within this thing, you can hold 5 different lens filters. And this time around, I'm actually bringing 6 or 7 filters. We have the prism lens subtle linear filter. I have the 82mm variety of all of these lens filters, by the way. And this subtle linear filter, I've used this a lot on the road. I love this filter. It's big, which is kind of a pain. It's heavy, but the results are awesome. I'm also using another Prism Effects lens, the Halo 82mm. I've done a video on this one as well. You can just get some out of this world shots with this particular filter. Like every time I see the shots when I'm editing, I'm like, what? It's so cool. This is a new one I tried on the last tour I was on, and I'm bringing it out again. This is a newer starburst filter of some kind. It's wild. There's some shots with this one, and you can see that it just blows the lights out in the back. And you gotta have a good light source for it to really pop, but when it pops, it looks awesome. And then this blue streak filter. This one is really cool too. This is the K&F Concept Nano X series blue streak filter. And this gets you like a kind of anamorphic look to your shots. And this is just another one that when it's on, it looks amazing. But all of these lens filters all share one common thing, and that's that you're gonna get just as many bad shots as you are good with them, because it's caked into the image. So you have to use them sparingly. It really helps to know the set list of the shows that you're working, which is, you know, it's hard if you're just shooting a show and you only get the first 3 songs. But when you're on the road as a band, you get to see them every night, you can shoot the whole show. You really get a feel of like when the lights are gonna be on and when each of these filters will work best. And a couple of filters I'm gonna be taking out in this run that I haven't used yet at all. I haven't even put these on my camera ever yet. They're also 82mm ones. They come from a company called Walking Way. I'm taking out a linear one that's not subtle, it's full linear, so that'd be wild, and a motion blur filter that they call their double-sided ghost filter. So I'm excited to check these out. What else we got in here? I take one of these squishy air blowers to clean my sensors if necessary. I have this little guy which I keep some SD cards in. Gotta have spare SD cards, just in case. I would like to point out though that I've never in my photography life had an SD card fail in any way on any of my cameras, dating back 10 years. But preparedness meets success. Always bring some spare SD cards. I should have mentioned this with the DJI mics. I actually have this little pouch where I keep just little knickknacks, like the lav mic, this little mic, which we've talked about on the channel before, and just some other microphone related accessories. Small, takes up no space. And this is another new addition to the bag. This is the Godox V100S. This thing just came out. It's got a touchscreen. I'm super stoked for it. Here's the thing, it's a pain sometimes to travel with a flash like this, with a speed light. It can take up a lot of space. And honestly, you don't need something like this very often, because during a show, you can't use a flash like this. But when you need it, you need it. And I don't want to be left behind. And those times when you don't have a flash, you're like, why didn't I just find a way? I'm finding a way this time. I'm bringing this flash with me. So that's basically it for what's inside my bag. You know, this bag actually has a pouch like this too, and inside that I keep a little tool, you know, to clean my lenses, some microfiber cloths too, just knickknacks. And now after seeing all that, and you saw the inside of the bag, you're like, wait a minute, I did the math here. Not all those things fit into that bag, and you are right. When I go on the road, I typically bring a smaller bag too. This one's just a ProMaster bag, and this is kind of what I'll take out on the streets, you know, if I'm just gonna be going out doing some daily shooting or something like that. But I also use this to just store things when I'm not using them. So some of these lenses, if I can't fit them into the other bag, I'll put them in here. It's just good to have a little bag with you as well. But that's pretty much it. that's what I'm shooting with on these upcoming tours, and I'm super stoked. Got some new stuff to try out, probably make some videos on some of these new filters I'm trying. And like I said, maybe that 50mm Sigma lens too, because that thing rocks. But that's pretty much it. Just want to run through the bag. I get curious what other people are shooting with a lot of times as well. So if you were wondering about this type of thing, I hope you found some value in this video. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more content like this. I'm going to be out on the road for the next few weeks, and I'm excited to see what we can do with some of this new stuff. If you like this video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe, be in touch. Comment below with any questions you have about any of this gear, or if you just have any questions about music photography in general, or if you just want to say, hey, I'm always here for it. But until the next one, be excellent, my friend. I'll see you on the road. Oh, one more thing that I always bring with me. These little lights. This is a Godox. These things are slick. Takes up no space. Wonder how many times I said takes up no space in this video. Somebody count.